Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a special look at Terraforming Mars. I didn't realize I haven't reviewed this game before. I've played it a ton, and I don't know what happened. I never reviewed it, so I'm going to fix that. So today we're reviewing Terraforming Mars, which is published by Stronghold Games. It's a 1 to 5 player game that was created by Fricks Games and designed by Jacob Frixelius. So in this game of Terraforming Mars, you're going to be terraforming Mars. You're going to be trying to push up all three of the environmental requirements to make Mars habitable. So you're going to be trying to put out oceans, you're going to be raising the temperature, and you're going to be raising the oxygen level of Mars. Once Mars is habitable, the game will end and everyone will score up their points, and the person with the most points will win. Well, how do you do all this? Well, let's go ahead down the table here. I'll give you a general idea how to play the game, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is Terraforming Mars, and I'm briefly going to go over the game itself. So this is going to be a high-level overview of the game, so you just get a general idea how the game works. So to start out, you're going to place out this board here. You're going to place a marker on the 0% for oxygen, and a marker here on the -30, and a turn marker on 1. You will also place all your cubes out on the beginning terraforming rating, which is going to be 20. And you're going to get a player board, and you're going to put a marker, one of your markers, on all of the 0 locations on the board. Now, one thing I just want to point out real quick is the component quality of these boards is terrible. And this is basically a sheet of paper. So it is awful. Not only that, these markers will just slide on this paper here, and they're really hard to track. So I do suggest that instead of using this, that you get one of the aftermarket dual layer boards, or you get a dual layer board from Stronghold Games, or you just use a sheet of paper and a pen to track your levels on here, because this is just awful. All right, so now that I'm past that part, let's talk about the rest of the stuff. So the other parts for setup is you're going to place out the 9 oceans up in the upper right hand corner, and you are going to place out all the money there, so it's available for everyone. This trays here don't come with the game. I got them separately, but I do highly recommend having trays for it, just so it's easier for people to get their money. And this is going to be your plant and city tiles. They're dual-sided, so you just put them in a pile, and these are the special tiles. In addition to that, you're going to have your corporation deck. You're going to have your beginner corporation deck, and you're going to have your deck of cards. You're going to give every player 10 cards. Now, at this point of the game, you're going to decide how you're going to play the game. So if you're playing a beginner game, each player gets to keep all 10 of their cards. They'll also get a beginner corporation, and these are all the same. So they're going to give you 42 mega credits and 10 cards. That's all these do. You don't even need to hold on to them. Technically, you could just do that and then not have these. The denominations for these mega credits work the same way. You have 1s are these copper, 5s are silver, and 10s are gold. All right. If you do it that way, you're going to pick whoever's going to be first player. They're going to get this marker. Every round, this will rotate to a new person, and they'll be the first player. And that's it. Now, if you decide to play with corporations, you're going to randomly deal out one of these corporations to everyone. And this is going to give you a couple different things to start out the game. Here's going to be your starting ME, and here's going to be an ability. So each one of these are a little different. Here's you're going to have starting energy production, and you're going to have 48 ME. And this is going to be your effect that you're going to get through the game. So these are very asymmetric. Several things I didn't talk about yet, but if this has a brown border around it, that's production. If it doesn't have a brown border around it, you just get whatever that is. So energy, titanium, and you'll put those over there. So like if I get 1 titanium, I'll just put this 1 copper here to show that I have that available to spend on my turns. addition to that, you get a tag. Tags are used at different points of the game for checks, and they're also sometimes for milestones and rewards that you can get throughout the game. But there's a lot of these different corporations, so you're just going to randomly hand them out. One thing I do like to note, if you do get a bunch of the expansions for Terraforming Mars, I do like actually handing out more than one of these to each player. So maybe if you have all the expansions like I do, I hand out like 4 and they can pick one. But rules as stated, you're just going to randomly deal them out one. In addition to having a corporation that's going to denote what resources you get. So here's a good example of one that you would just get 10 titanium. So I wouldn't get 10 titanium production. I would get 10 titanium and 23 mega credits. And this is my ability here. So your titanium resources are worth 1 mega credit each. So additional mega credit. So right now they're only worth 3, but if I had Foblog, or however you're going to pronounce that, they would be worth 4 each, which is really good. You get different points, you can convert these into paying for cards, which gets into tags and stuff. But the additional thing to your setup is now these, if you want to keep them, will cost 3 mega credits each. So you're going to go through your hand and see like what you want to do, and you'll pay 3 mega credits each. As an additional optional rule, which I highly recommend, you can draft. So I can look through this deck here and I could see, ooh, I really like this one. I think I'm going to try to get these. So this one here at the end of the game is going to score me 1 point for every Jupiter tag that I have. And this one has a Jupiter tag, and maybe I want to do that. So I will pay 3 mega credits. I'll place this face down, and then I'll hand this over to the next player, and the player to my left will hand me their cards. I'll pick one of them, pay 3 mega credits, and get that card and keep going until either discard a card on your turn or you run out of cards. So if you don't want to have anything in here or pay anything, you would actually discard a card. I highly recommend doing the drafting, but you don't have to. So you can do any of those 3 ways of starting the game. Once you have decided how that's going to be to start the game, you can then start the game. Now, each round here is going to be pretty simple. You are going to do up to 1 to 2 actions on your turn. You can try to delay your turns and see what other people are doing by doing 1 action if you want, but you can do up to 1 to 2 actions a turn. And the different actions you can do are going to be playing a card. If I want to play a card, I have to meet all the requirements on the card. So this one here is just going to be 20 mega credits. I would spend 20 mega credits and I'd be able to play this card. Here is 6 mega credits, but the temperature needs to be at least 14 degrees to be able, negative 14 degrees to be able to play this. And currently it is not. What's other ones in here that have, some of them have tag requirements. Like this one here is 13 money, but I have to have 4 science tags already down on the board. When you play a card, they will just stay on your board. Some of them for scoring, don't do anything now. They'll score. So the green cards in general are going to just give you something. So the next one I play, I would actually play it so I just saw the tags. And this one here would, like this, for example, cost 6 money. You have to have 14 degrees to be able to play. And I would get 1 green production and 1 green unit. So I put a copper on there to show that I had a green unit. And I can place that down. So the greens, you just show the tags. The blues are something you're going to play to put out. So I play to put this out. I immediately get the thing on the bottom, so I'm going to get 4 energy production. But as an action on my turn, I can actually do this. Here, this is going to be a passive one. So whenever you play a space card, you pay 2 ME less for it. I'm trying to do space. This is a really great card, so I would put that down. And now anytime I played a card with a space tag on it, it would cost 2 ME less. Now remember, since I picked this corporation, these are worth 1 more. well, how do you spend those titanium? Well, if it has this little symbol on here, which there's other ways you spend titanium throughout the game, but if it has a little symbol here, I can spend titanium to help pay for the cost of this card. So there are other blue cards in this game, but I'm going to show you ones that you would expend on your turn, but I'll just show you this red card because I have it in my hand. Red cards, you're going to play them. You're going to do something big because red cards are going to be normally something big, or sometimes they're little things. But anyway, you're going to do that action and then you're going to flip the card over. That card will be counted for tags and stuff at the end of the game, but for right now, it's just expended. There are blue cards in this deck here that have an action like this. So once per, they actually call them generation, but once per round or generation, I can use this card. I would just turn this card over and then I get to use this ability. This one here is action. Look at the top card and either buy it or discard it. If you buy a card, it costs 3 mega credits. That's just what cards cost in this game. So those are cards I can do. If I have blue cards down that I can tap for actions, that's an action I can do. Other things you can do as actions is you can do any of these standard projects on here as an action. This one here, I can discard cards from my hand. However many cards that I discard, I will get 1 mega credit each for them. That's a horrible conversion, but sometimes you just can't play cards anymore, so you may want to do that. That's the rule for the cards though. If it requires placing a tile and I can't place the tile, I can't play the card. So eventually these oceans are going to get all placed out on the board, and once that happens, if I have cards that put oceans out, I can't use them anymore, so might as well trade them in for 1 mega credit. Here I can spend 11 mega credits and get 1 energy production. 14 mega credits will bring up the temperature. 18 mega credits will let me put out an ocean. 23 mega credits will let me put out a forest, and 25 mega credits will let me put out a city, and I'll get 1 mega credit production. Now, when you increase these terraforming ratings, so there's going to be 3 different ones that we care about. You have oxygen, you have temperature, and you have oceans you're placing out. Once those reach their maxes, the game's going to end. But whenever you do any of these, so if I place an ocean, or I raise the temperature, or I raise the oxygen, I'm going to go up a terraforming rating. And these numbers are going to be important for when a new generation or round starts, which we'll go over in a minute. But that's how you're going to be pushing up. And the person with the highest terraforming rating is going to be the person that wins at the end of the game. So putting these out will help push you up. You also get points for your cards that you have down on the board. Like I showed you this one here, that'll give me a point for every Jupiter tag. There's a ton of them in there, so there's a lot of different things, and they can synergize. Placing tiles on the board, if you see this light blue here, only water can be placed there. Water you can just place wherever you want, and you'll get the bonus underneath. So here I'll get 2 plants, here I'll get 2 cards, here I'll get a card, here I'll get 2 steel. Steel, like titanium, is something I can potentially convert into helping paying for cards, among other things throughout the game. And that's oceans. The other thing you can place, if you place down greeneries or cities, when you place down your greenery, you're going to get whatever is showing on there, and it has to be in a legal spot. And you're going to put your little marker on it to claim it. All the rest of the greeneries that you play in the game, if you can, you have to place them adjacent to the existing one. And these will all be minimally worth 1 point at the end of the game. If you place a city down, so if I place a city down, I can place it where I want. For every greenery that it's next to, whether it's your opponent's or yours, you're going to get a point. So if I have 4 greenery around this, I'll get 4 points, whether they're mine or someone else's. Something to keep in mind when you're going throughout the game is you don't want to throw points to other players. Bolded areas you don't build on. Those are going to be for special cards in general. But other than that, that's going to, in a nutshell, really quick, that is going to be your placement. And you do have these special buildings down. They correspond to cards in the deck. And a lot of them will give you special bonuses, and a lot of them have restrictions on where they can go on the board itself. Additional actions you can do on your turn is you can purchase milestones or awards. Milestones mean that you have the thing and can claim it. And each milestone you claim is worth 5 points. And there's 3 milestones, up to 3 milestones you can claim. You can claim all of them, but one an action. if you have the prerequisite for them. So they're all going to cost 8 each. Once 3 are claimed by anybody, and you claim them by putting your thing down there, paying the money, and putting your little token on which one milestone you're claiming. Also, for this one here, like you'll need 35 terraforming ratings. Once you get there, you can claim this one. Here you have to build 3 cities. Once you do that, you can claim that one. Here, if you've built 3 forests, you can claim this one. If you have 8 building tags, you can claim this one. And if you have 16 cards in your hand at the time of claiming this, you can claim it. Awards are a little different. They're at the end of the game, and the person who purchased the award doesn't necessarily benefit from it. So you have to be careful. So the first award costs 8, second 14, third 20. You can only have up to 3 awards. Once you claim it, or once you say I want to do an award, you're going to pick which one you're going to do. And here's going to have the most tiles on the board. Here's going to be, you have the most ME production, or mega credit production. I keep calling them ME, but it's mega credit production. Here you're going to have the most science tags. Here you're going to have the most thermal units there, not production. And this here you're going to have the most of the steel and titanium, not production, but the actual steel or titanium. It is important to note that before these awards hit, you will produce one more time, and when you do that, you could bump you up to what you want to do, what you want to have. Throughout the game here, once everyone has played the cards they want or can and pass, then a new generation will start. When a new generation starts, you're going to get some goods, and depending on where you have this marker at, it's going to be how many goods you have. So if I have this here, I'm going to get my terraforming rating. So I'm green, I get 21, so I get 21 mega credits. If this further along here, let's say 5, I would get 21 plus 5, 27 meg credits. I would get however many steel that I have here, however many titanium I have there, however many plants that I have here, and however many energy I have here, and then however many heat. Now, 2 actions I skip by because I'm just doing a quick overview is you can spend 8, as an action, you can spend 8 plants to put down a forest, and here I can spend 8 heat to raise the temperature by 1. One important thing to note is before I get my production, any energy that I have here gets moved into heat. So energy is one of those things that, in the game I found that you can get a lot of energy, but energy is one of those things that you either spend it at the end of the round or it goes to heat, so you don't have excess from round to round, where the other ones you do. So once I've gained all my resources, then I'm going to draw 4 cards. Now, you have to pay 3 mega credits per card that you want to keep. All the other cards will become discarded. Now, depending on how you decided if you want to do drafting or not, which I do highly recommend, if you decide to do drafting, you'll pick one of those 4, pass the other ones over, and continue on until all the cards have been picked. So that's how an entire generation and the start of a generation will work throughout the game. The game will keep on going until you have completed all 3 terraforming ratings. At that point, you'll finish the round out, and the person with the highest terraforming rating will win. So, like I said, in a quick nutshell, that's how you play Terraforming Mars. Let's go back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. Okay, so Terraforming Mars. Let's start out with component quality. It's okay. It's not horrible. It's not great. Yeah, the component quality is okay for the game. I would suggest to sleeve the cards if you're going to be playing this a lot. They wear pretty quickly. There's tons of upgrades. So if you end up loving this game, one of the things that is a definite 100% must in this game is you need to upgrade those player boards, or get a sheet of paper and write down the production levels of all this stuff on that sheet of paper. It's just too easy to blow around those little cubes, just bump the table and the cubes move on that thin player board that is almost literally a sheet of paper. They have a lot of places have the dual layer boards. I believe you can still purchase the dual layer boards that were from the Kickstarter that they did. everything, anytime Stronghold Games does a Kickstarter, they always make the stuff available for sale afterwards. They have no Kickstarter exclusives per se. So you should still be able to get those dual layer boards, if not from them. There's tons of Etsy shops, and I believe BGG was selling one too. Anyway, those are almost a must as the two dual layer boards. Other than that, the stuff's fine. The metal cubes wear off pretty quickly, but if you're really worried about them, you can paint them or replace them with actual metal cubes instead of like metallic painted plastic cubes. Despite all that component quality stuff, this game is amazing. It plays very well. It is your turns can be very solo in the game. There isn't a whole lot of player interaction in the game, and most of the take that cards are just simply not worth it. So even with that, with the low amount of player just interacting with players in general, the game is a lot of fun. Your turns are quick. There's a lot of them, but your turns are quick and they're engaging because you finish your turn. You can't wait to finish the next thing, to get your engine going, to do the next thing, play the next card, do the next thing. So that is really amazing and fun. Trying to build an engine throughout Terraforming Mars seems easy, but it can be very difficult. It's a lot of fun trying to get there. And when you have an engine going, it is amazing. Just putting cubes everywhere. Really great. I like you get a huge deck of cards in there, so there's a lot of variety in the different cards that you can get. So there's a lot of replayability in the game because you're going to get something different all the time. The corporations that you get when you play the advanced mode of the game are wonderful. They give you a slight asymmetric power throughout the game. Just overall, an amazing game. It's one of those games that you play, and if it's taught correctly, it is a lot of fun. So, a couple things I'll say about Terraforming Mars outside of that. So Terraforming Mars can be a very long game, especially if you have people that don't like putting up the terraforming ratings. Instead, they like to make their points through the cards and and make the game longer. I would suggest that if you have new players that you don't do that. You focus on raising the terraforming ratings on the board, and so they can get a understanding of how to play the game, how the mechanics work, and it gives them a shot at the game too. So they don't know all the cards in the game. They don't know all of the little ways that you can gain tons of points without raising the terraforming level, and just keep doing that throughout the game. That's my suggestion if you play with anyone new. However, when you play with a lot of people that have known how to play Terraforming Mars, it gets amazing because you now have competition in the game. You can watch their terraforming ratings go up, and you can get a little nervous that you need to beef up your game there. That is a lot of fun. This game, although some of the stuff I said didn't sound amazing, it's just really, really good. I like everything about it. I like all the flavor text on the cards. I like trying to get those tags down, trying to create that engine, to do all these different things. Wonderful, wonderful game. I would highly recommend playing this game. I would recommend that if anyone is teaching you to play this game, that they, again, just focus on raising the terraforming ratings. But, you know, you can still have fun without doing that. But that's my suggestion. So, yeah. So, I really like this game. I highly recommend giving it a play. And that's my thoughts on Terraforming Mars.